What is up, my YouTube page? So, I want to talk about, I guess it'll be another chapter to the, to the, what's it called? My life story, like my journey, basically, and how I ended up where I'm at now. Um, but I wanted to talk about, like, jump ahead, because I don't remember in the last video where I left off. I think I was talking about abductions and how my experiences with that in LA, in Hollywood, but I don't remember exactly. But I want to jump to when I moved here in Laredo, back to Laredo this last time, that last time that I moved here, that I haven't left since then. I won't necessarily talk about why I came, like, what made me move back here, because that's its own, like, thing, separate thing. But I want to talk about what I started doing when I got here, what I felt compelled to do when I got here. And that was basically just start to live a life of health, like conscious health, as far as what I'm eating, and portraying that to my family and friends and the world around me, and learning how to live self-sustainably, and you know exploring different ways of how basically we could create free energy and live off of that. It was all kinds of stuff like that I wanted to focus on when I first moved back here. That, and of course, being active in protesting with whatever was the latest, thing going on, and not just that, but also to go out and meet people, that were like-minded, that I could connect with, and spread these ideas to. Um, so it didn't work out, basically. Going that route, I did it for a few months, and I started getting, basically, what's the word I will put? Not opposition, but just, I guess, to some degree, yeah, opposition, and like just how can I explain this? It's like it was hard trying to express, these ideas to people for various reasons, depending on the person and the topic. And at a certain point, I just started seeing past why it was so hard, and understanding why it was so hard. And I just started to dwell on that myself, instead of, trying to stay focused on what it is I needed to get through to them in order to, relay what I'm trying to relay. And I know it sounds confusing like that. I'm being very general, because it was a variety of different issues and situations. I mean, I'll give one example. Okay, as far as the health conscious, eating healthily, I tried for a while, but it's hard. First of all, it's hard being health conscious when you're poor, because, healthy food is more expensive at times, and it's just a lot harder, to have that kind of lifestyle. And then it's hard also when you're kind of being entering into, debates about sort of related things, that distract from the topic. Like, for example, I would try to say how, eating healthy is better for us, eating organic is what we need, and it would, you know sway into the, oh, look, a dragonfly, that's cool, hey, dragonfly. And it would sway into the whole, how we're being put with choices in front of us that aren't very healthy for us, and that these companies out there that do it knowingly, and it's not of any concern to anyone, really. It's not made as big of a deal as it should be, considering how some of these foods have been linked to cancer and other diseases that have manifested in a lot of us. And it starts to change tone a bit, because then you start opening new realms of dialogue that are kind of related to what you're talking about, but not really what you want to focus on, but still kind of important to discuss. And when you start to talk, emotions tend to flare and disagreements come about. Misinformation is cleared out, and it becomes very chaotic and ugly, and it's hard to do that, for me personally, to deal with that at this point. I'm getting better at it, but I'm still not 100% that, that good yet. So I still need some time before I'm there, but I'm almost there. And anyway, so basically, the more that I tended to focus on the issues of why there was disconnect and misunderstandings, or the information was not being allowed to get through to somebody, I the more I started to reconfigure my life's path and purpose, basically, and what I should do, what I should try and the direction I should go. Because you see, every single person, every single thing in existence has an effect, like an actual literal effect, chemically, and also, you know, just biologically, spiritually, everything. Any Lee you could think of, it has an effect on the outside world. And so when you choose to go in a certain direction in life, wherever you decide to go, your presence there is going to have an effect on the world around you, and that realm of whatever it is that you chose to go into, whatever it is that you're choosing to fall into. And I decided that I was gonna go the darker routes, the routes that seemed, and this is a decision that helped me to go into this direction, or that swayed me there, is an event that happened to me, where I was at a bar once, and it was what's it called? The fuck's that bar called? Cold Brew. The Cold Brew here in where I live in Laredo, Texas, and I was there and talking to this guy that showed up, and we were hanging out, just drinking and listening to music and whatnot, and he started telling me about his life. Of course, we were outside, and he was telling me about his vacuum cleaning business or some shit that he was starting with his brother. I don't know what the fuck. It's some business. And then he started talking about how he used to sell drugs, and he used to be in a gang, and and he used to do all kinds of stuff, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, or not cool, whatever. I'm glad you're not that way anymore. I don't remember what I was saying. I was drunk. But and I was probably also high at the time, and I told him, I don't remember if I told him or he asked, but one of us instigated us going outside to our vehicle to go smoke. And I think we went into my vehicle first. Yes, we went into my vehicle first. And as soon as we got in there, I noticed his demeanor changed a little bit. But I'm not the kind of person that gets very, intimidated easily by a change of tone from anybody. So, I didn't really pay much attention to it until he grabbed my hat and took it off my fucking head to like put it on his head, like trying to show like he's in control. And I was like, no, motherfucker, like give me back my hat. Don't fucking touch my hat. And I put it back on my head. I hated when people would grab my hat. Like, I used to wear a hat a lot, but I don't really anymore. It was a Lakers hat. Anyways, um, and so he starts talking more to me in there, more about his escapades or whatever, blah blah blah. Um, Talking about how the gangs there. He started talking more about the gang world, basically, like the cartel world, and how it was running everything, not just the underground world, but the government world right now. That it was like there was no hope for anybody to do anything because they had their hands in the pockets of everybody, or they were at the top of every government ring here, basically, the way he was making it seem. And like he had personal knowledge of it. And it just started upsetting me, because I don't think he was lying. I think he probably knows certain people, or he knew certain people that were involved in that were in government positions and that were taking advantage of it. And you know that's how he knew. But he doesn't know everything, the whole scope of it. And I know that as long as we have intention for things in our own minds, that we can create it. So I was not going to allow this little fucking piece of shit to tell me that my world is going to be run by fucking criminals. Like, that it's even more, well, it basically has been this whole time, but we're slowly like getting them out, here and there. They're starting to turn on each other more, and they're starting to be held accountable more than they used to be, a hell of a lot more than they used to be. And it's only going to keep coming even more. And that was my mentality, like, since before I left LA, because that's what I started to think in my head when I started to find out all this shit that it was wrong with the world. And so, I wasn't gonna change that in my head. And I started telling him now, well, just countering whatever he was saying. And he was like, whatever. And then he's like, well, let's go to my car, and because I have more weed in there. That's how he lured me there, motherfucker. And he's like, we can check it out. I have better stuff, whatever. And so I go with him to his car, and he pulls out a fucking CD case, one of those old CD cases. And but instead of CDs, it just has a bunch of different types of weed in there, like a bunch of different types of weed. And I was like, wow. He's like, yeah. And he said all right, I don't know if I told him I thought you said you don't sell anymore. He told me he was selling that. He was selling those. And I was like, I thought you said you don't sell anymore. And like, it just made me very instantly uncomfortable. Like, the fact that he lied, and just the way he pulled it out. Like, he wanted to see a reaction out of me. Like, he was trying to get me to look scared. Like, he wanted to see the fear in my eyes. And and I was just looking at him like, are you serious? Like, and then at that moment, I started instantly, my mind, it starts, when I get into moments where I feel like I'm in danger, my subconscious mind takes over, and it starts like just taking over. And from then on, like, it does what it does to take me out of whatever it is I feel I'm in danger, until I'm out of danger. And that's what happened. And So what happened was he starts talking more about his little escapades, trying to. It seemed as if he was trying to intimidate me, if I'm being honest. The way he was talking and how he was saying, that how the cartels over there now, they were harvesting children's organs, and they were, doing all kinds of fucked up shit, and nobody stopping them and all this fucking shit, and just pissing me off more with each and every word that he's saying. And I'm just like, and then he ends up getting a pair of scissors because he's gonna, I guess, cut the zag to roll it. I don't know. I honestly, as soon as I saw the scissors, like, I got on guard right away, and I said no, like, you don't. And the way he grabbed them too, like outward, like looking at me, it just it no, I as soon as I saw those fucking scissors, I reached towards him and I like, it took him by surprise because he saw how quickly, like, I just moved. Like, I guess, like, he kind of like jerked back and he loosened his hands on the scissors, and when he did that, I just grabbed him and I pulled him away. I grabbed him to the side and I just looked at him sideways, and I was like, keep talking. Like, I didn't say anything. I was just staring at him, and he just looked at me like he was fucking shitting bricks. And he's fucking had every right to, because I would have stabbed that motherfucker if he would have told me that he did that shit. I started asking him, like, did you do that shit? Like, are you out there looking for kids? Are you doing that shit? And are you wanting this and that? I was just putting him on the spot, and he was like, all fucking scared. And I just, like, I felt, I wasn't sure he was lying or not, but, like, I just felt so angry because I felt like he would be one of those guys that, even though he's not there, you know, doing it himself, he'll be there, like, with the gun in the background, supporting whoever the fuck is doing that. And that was enough to make me want to fucking stab his fucking face out. But, he just looked so fucking terrified, and I felt bad for him. Like, I honestly felt like, you're just a little weak piece of shit. Like, because I went, like, with the scissors to him. I was like, tell me you fucking did that to a kid. Tell me, motherfucker. And he just, like, I don't remember what the fuck he was saying. I was just like, pray to Jesus, motherfucker, that I don't fucking stab you if you tell me you did that shit. Like, oh. And yeah, I told him to unlock the door because I think he had locked it, and I unlocked it, and I just opened it, and I fucking got out with his fucking scissors, and I took his vape too because he had a vape, and I fucking told him, like, you better fucking stop doing that shit if you know what's good for you, because the world is not gonna be the way you think it is, and people are gonna fucking get held accountable for the shit that they're doing out there. Fucking trust me, bitch. And from that point, I decided, you know what? I have to start mingling with these types of people. I have to start integrating so I could affect those mindsets, so I could change those mindsets. And that's what I've done. And that's what I'm doing.